Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So, I'm back on full-time duty as the pedo police. Truly, it is never ending. We shall not wake up from this nightmare. The brand Balenciaga. You probably have seen something on your timeline about this because it has been a rather significant discussion for the past few days. So Balenciaga is a high-end brand, one that I used to enjoy. Now I just feel weird even owning anything from there. Basically, the photos of a new campaign were posted on social media and really bad choices were made there. Now, I ideally would like to think that all of these were simple mistakes, but truly I have thought about this over and over again, and I cannot find a scenario, a believable scenario, where all of these things just happened. All right, so these are the photos in question. At first glance, these photos may not seem that wild, right? But per usual, the devil is in the details. Now, this one picture specifically is important to note because this was really one of those moments where I thought it was fake. Like, it was that surreal to me that I thought this cannot be the actual campaign picture used, that was viewed by many eyes, that was approved, that went through, well, ideally, that went through a vetting process. So some of the pictures I'm gonna be using here and some of the commentary is going to be referring to the Instagram page Diet Prada. I follow them for fashion news, so if you want to see more, I'll link them down below. So there's this picture, right? Kind of a boring picture, to be honest, nothing to write home about. You can see that there's documents. So the document itself says this: simulated sexual intercourse is not intercourse that is merely suggested, but rather intercourse that is explicitly portrayed, even though through camera tricks or otherwise, it may not actually have occurred. The portrayal must cause a reasonable viewer to believe that the actors actually engaged in that conduct on camera. Critically, unlike the Free Speech Coalition requirement of a visual depiction of an actual minor, makes clear that although the sexual intercourse may be simulated, it must involve actual children unless it is obscene. This change eliminates any possibility that virtual child pornography or sex between youthful-looking adult actors might be covered by the term simulated sexual intercourse. Now we turn to whether the statute, as we have construed it, criminalizes a substantial amount of protective expressive activity. Offers to engage in illegal transactions are categorically excluded from First Amendment protection. One would think this principle resolves the present case since the statute criminalizes only offers to provide or request to obtain contraband, child obscenity, and child pornography involving actual children, both of which are prescribed blah, 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 blah. I want to know what the fuck, basically. I don't understand how this photo shoot occurred. I truly don't get it. Explain to me how you see a bag, you want to publicize this bag, you want people to buy the bag or at least be interested by the brand, and so you take this boring ass picture and you want to include documents, and this is what you included. The whole process is mystifying because someone had to look this up, print it, position it, and take the picture of it. All of these things. Where in each of these steps did someone not say, hey, what the fuck is this? Why are we including this? Like, how? I don't get it. And I mean, maybe they didn't print it, maybe they had it lying around, which is also questionable because why would you just have this lying around? It doesn't seem like a typical resource to just have. You have a whole team of creatives who couldn't come up with another idea. You could have literally printed text from anything. You could have written your own text. I'm just gonna move on or else we're gonna be here for a really long time. So there's that picture of the bag. The other picture, which is really, I think, what kicked all of this off, is of this child with a teddy bear. Now in this picture, there are glasses, there are wine glasses, which I don't think is the end of the world. Specifically in this context, it's the least of our problems. If you look at this teddy bear closely, the teddy bear is wearing bondage gear. Obviously, bondage gear has an immediate implication that is sexual of nature. Duh, that's what kind of bondage gear is for. So I don't really know how we can pretend that isn't there. So the way I think of this is that there are multiple aspects of this imagery that are troubling, and they all kind of add up. So there are those glasses that look like wine glasses, right? And like I said, that's the least of our problems. But on top of that, we also have a little kid with the teddy bear bondage, right? Now, I already think that teddy bears are often associated with children. Now, of course, if you're an adult and have a teddy bear, nobody gives a shit, not that big of a deal. But as a general notion, stuffed animals have at least some kind of mental connection for a lot of people to children. So having a stuffed animal in bondage gear is already potentially troubling to people because you are essentially making a direct contrast. That contrast would be a little kid, childhood, innocence, all of these ideas, and you're contrasting that with bondage, which is sexual and not connected to innocence, just like the opposite. You have something that's very related to childhood and one thing that's very related to adult behavior, let us say. If it were an adult holding that teddy bear, I don't think anyone would give a shit about that contrast. They wouldn't even think of it. The fact that we have a child then holding the bondage teddy bear, in my opinion, highlights that contrast. Now, there are a lot of other conclusions that can be drawn from this picture that frankly make me feel ill to even consider. But we have alcohol, we have this child with the teddy bear and the bondage gear, there's this big couch, everything put together, no. And that's what I was saying about the layers or the things combined, all of it together, just no. So then there's another Balenciaga picture that again is very questionable and is very much in line with the child content. So in this picture in the background, there's this frame and you see the name John Philip Fisher, right? On September 19, 34th District Court Judge David Parrott presided over a lengthy preliminary exam for John Philip Fisher, 80, of Van Buren Township, on 7 charges of criminal sexual conduct, and then bound him over to circuit court for trial. I'm gonna skip some information here that's not particularly important to us. Fisher is on a walker, is hard of hearing, has eye problems, and has had heart surgery. When he asked his retained defense attorney, Pamela Tracy, if he was going home, she said no, he was going back to the infirmary at the jail. He is accused of molesting his granddaughter since she was 4 years old until this year. She is now 16. So again, we have another situation where I don't know what the fuck happened because it's hard for me to believe that it would be completely unnoticed. This picture has basically nothing in it. There's like a lamp, a desk, kind of, a tiny bit of what looks like an armchair in that fucking frame. Literally, that frame is the most noteworthy thing in the picture apart from the person. So the whole unnoticed thing, never gonna buy that regardless. Even if it were a small detail, it's a photo shoot. Small details are big details. I don't even know why that's framed, but even moving on from that, again, we have the same theme of child pornography. Here we have literal abuse of a child. So I can't explain any of this. I cannot find any situation in which this makes sense. So Balenciaga posted on their story saying, "We sincerely apologize for any offense our holiday campaign may have caused. Our plush bear bags should not have been featured with children in this campaign. We have immediately removed the campaign from all platforms. We apologize for displaying unsettling documents in our campaign. We take this matter very seriously and are taking legal action against the parties responsible for creating the set and including unapproved items for our Spring 23 campaign photo shoot. We strongly condemn abuse of children in any form. We stand for children's safety and well-being." The fact that they mention that they're taking legal action was interesting to me because I don't know how you can disassociate yourself from the parties whose quote-unquote fault it is. Because, like I said, I don't think they just take a picture and are like, yep, this is a campaign picture, done. Like, multiple people had to look over this. So who are you going to take a legal action against here? The people who noticed this and approved it? The people who decided they were going to use these documents? Like, who are we blaming here? That's the thing I don't understand, because it being a company, you're all kind of automatically gonna be to blame because, again, it's under the name Balenciaga. So if you were part of this project in any way, automatically you're involved to some degree. So I don't even know who the quote unquote guilty parties would be. Who exactly are we gonna try to pin this on? That's where we're at right now. Balenciaga has no pictures left on their Instagram. Instagram. Their Instagram is empty at the moment. The only things they've said that I've seen are what I read to you. I don't really know how they are going to plan on going forward. Also, as a quick note, I have seen people saying that this was all a publicity stunt. I don't put publicity stunts above any fashion brand or celebrity for that matter. However, if you're gonna pull a stunt, I can understand wanting to be scandalous. This, though, doesn't work out well for anyone. So I don't know what they would have expected to get from this. Like, yeah, people are talking about you, but it's not just talking badly about you. You are being talked about in the type of way where people will stop buying from you and people are going to boycott you. So do you want to be talked about that way? You know, like, I just can't really conceptualize a world where a stunt like that would make sense. Then again, the critical thinking doesn't seem to be in the house of Balenciaga, so maybe I'm wrong. I do think that this lack of responsibility in the first place, but also in the reaction of taking legal action against God knows who, the whole thing just seems fake. Like, I truly don't think that they're actually upset about what they did as much as they're upset that people are upset, so then they need to say something in order to do that kind of damage control. Do I think they give a fuck? Aside from the fact that they're going to lose money, aside from the fact that they're going to be boycotted? No, not really. I don't think they really care aside from what the bank account says. So you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.